right, welcome back to In the Can. We're with Craig Johnson. He's got one of the films that a lot of people are talking about here at the Sundance Film Festival called Skeleton Twins. Thanks for coming, Craig.
Happy to be here.
And this film looks fantastic on a number of different levels. It's very interesting. First of all, your cast. I know it's a drama. We'll talk about the movie itself in a second, but we're starring Kristen Wiig, Bill Hader, Ty Burrell, and a lot of very funny people are in this film. But it's not a funny film.
Well, you know, it's funny because it actually does walk a line. It's certainly more dramatic and emotional than what we're used to seeing these actors do, but it is funny in its own way. It's a little more subtle. It's a character-driven humor, so there's a lot of humor in it, but it's also very emotional.
Well, let's talk about it a little bit. Kristen and Bill play characters that they're siblings. They're estranged. They haven't talked to each other in a long, long time. They live on opposite coasts.
Right.
A series of events has put them together again.
That's right.
And what happens after that?
Well, that's
too detailed.
Yeah, that's what the movie's about. Yeah. It's about them sort of, they were very close as little kids, and there was a series of events in their life that pulled them apart. So when they reunite, it's all about them sort of rebuilding their relationship. In a way, I've been calling it a non-romantic love story. It's sort of about these two, you know, in this case, siblings who were so close and inseparable, and about them sort of finding each other again and falling back in love.
And they actually are finding each other personally as well, right? I mean, Kristen's character, for example, is in an interesting marriage, and you know, Bill's character is visiting her in New York. Is that right?
Yeah,
he's back home, right?
He goes back home to live with her in the town they grew up in.
And he's reconnecting with some people there and things like that.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
So when you approached, I mean, did you have these actors in mind when you were looking to cast? I mean,
I knew I wanted funny actors. I knew I wanted actors that were good at comedy. I just gravitate to that. I love comedic actors. I find that a actor who's good at comedy, it's easier for them to transition into drama than, say, vice versa, than a dramatic actor doing comedy.
Right.
And so I didn't have those two in mind, like during the writing process. We found them a little more organically.
That's really great, and you know, both Kristen and Bill, I know, speaking of your principals, that they both have that kind of self-deprecating style of humor anyway, which lends to a little more vulnerability, and it seems to me that vulnerability really probably played a key part in the creation of these characters.
Hugely.
And you co-wrote this script, by the way.
I did, yeah.
So you created these characters.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, there is certainly stuff from my own life in it. You know, my relationship with my own sister, who I'm very close to, we connect, though, via our very odd senses of humor. And that's really a large element of the movie, is that's how these two twins interact. That's how they connect, is through their sense of humor.
So how personal was this script for you? I mean, you mentioned you have that kind of interesting off relationship with your sister. I mean, did you draw upon that a lot as you wrote this, and more importantly, as you made the film?
I did, very much so. I mean, quite honestly, Kristen Wiig has always reminded me a little bit of my sister. They're both named Kristen, but beyond that, my sister has this really wry, deadpan sense of humor that just cracks me up. And so, you know, the second I kind of thought of Kristen, it was just like, oh, yeah, you know. She's perfect.
And is that what happened during, I mean, first of all, I mean, as you were finding your actors, I'm always curious about the process. Is that what sparked that for you? Oh my gosh, this kind of reminds me of the character that I wrote.
Well,
I mean,
partially, and I also knew that, you know, having Kristen Wiig in your movie is just a wonderful thing.
Never hurts. No.
And but mainly though, you know, she was just right for the role. She was so perfect for it. And we actually had Bill Hader. We didn't cast them together. We had Bill attached first, and then brought in Kristen later. And when I thought of bringing Kristen in, it was sort of like, oh wow, you know, that is super interesting, because they, you know, they have an association in the public's mind because of Saturday Night Live, obviously. And
they know, and they know each other.
They're very good friends in real life.
So that probably played into it too. I mean, obviously for the chemistry of the characters, you need some chemistry with the actors.
I mean, I couldn't manufacture that, and that was just embedded in their own real life relationship.
You premiered on Saturday here at the Sundance Film Festival?
Yeah, last Saturday.
And you were mentioning before we came on that this was not only the first time that you saw the film with a large non-test audience, but practically finished. I mean, there were still some color corrections and things that you hadn't seen.
I hadn't seen it like with the color correction and the original score and sound design all together. It was my first time seeing it with everything.
So were you surprised by the reaction of the audience, or?
I was blown away because, you know, you never know. You're like, I think that part's funny. I don't know if anyone else really will. But then to hear these kind of eruptions of laughter, so proof that there is funny stuff in it. But then also in the more dramatic moments, just getting us, you know, people were just leaning forward. You could hear a pin drop. You know, it was incredibly satisfying.
Do you ever second guess yourself after you've seen it with an audience? I mean,
I second guess myself constantly.
Well, I mean,
I'm working on it.
In a general way, we all do, right? I mean, that's just what, you know, the creation of art does to us. But, you know, when you see a reaction, you know, that maybe surprises you.
Yeah.
Do you take a moment and go, oh, I hadn't even thought that that would be the way that these people saw it?
There's always surprises when you're watching it. There's moments where you think like this is going to be maybe the biggest laugh in the thing. You're like, oh, maybe it's not. But then they'll erupt in laughter in a place you never anticipated, or you know something. You know, it's harder to tell. Laughter is easy to gauge because you can hear it. It's harder to tell with the dramatic stuff. But you know, it's my personality too to always be a little bit like, well, you know, I'm sure it wasn't as good as I thought it was, but it's been getting enough love that I couldn't be happier.
That's great. And then, of course, it's going to have a life here at the Sundance Film Festival. You've had, what, 4 screenings already?
Yeah, we have another screening today, and then we have 2 more left.
Okay, and hope the experience is great, and hopefully this film will have a long life after that.
Thank you.
Craig Johnson, he is the writer and the director of Skeleton Twins, big hit here at the Sundance Film Festival. More in the can coming up after this.